How do I, 28F, move forward from a disappointing proposal from my fiancé, M27? My fiancé and I have been together for 8 years. As a whole, we have a great stable relationship, but I can't move past my constant disappointment from his proposal. I didn't receive a "this is why I love you" speech or a grand gesture of asking me to marry him. He never even got down on one knee. Not that it's the end of the world, but it's just painting the picture. It was the last day of our camping trip that I really thought he was going to propose during. That evening he only wanted to go fishing, so I sat in my kayak probably 7 feet away and cried to myself for over an hour that it wasn't going to happen since he didn't propose at any beautiful hiking viewpoints or sunsets through the week, and we were leaving in the morning. When we brought the kayaks in after fishing until dark, he went to the truck, came back and handed me a ring box saying, "This should make you happy." That's it, that's all. Not even a bottle of wine to celebrate. I booked the same campsite on the same lake on the same day this year and hinted over and over again that he could make it up to me. He did not even acknowledge the anniversary of our engagement. We are to get married in August, but I can't move forward from this. I cry when friends get beautiful engagements. I cry watching rom-coms. I feel nothing but disappointment that I will never experience the gesture of love I dreamed about my whole life. Anytime we have a disagreement or I feel unwanted by him, I am just reminded of the disappointment I feel in regards to the proposal. I don't even enjoy looking at my beautiful ring because it doesn't bring me a happy memory. This feeling is clouding how I feel about him, even though he has never treated me poorly and is my best friend. I don't want to ruin my relationship over this, but I don't know how to move on. He said he can't change how things happen, which is true, but it's been over a year and I can't seem to move past my disappointment. It's a shut-up ring. I wouldn't accept it. "This should make you happy" is not a proposal at all. You would be well within your rights to give it back until he actually asks you to marry him. Honestly, he doesn't really sound like he likes you that much. Sad to say, your resentment to him will most likely continue to grow. Don't get married until this is resolved. Marriage seems like a bad choice. Why don't you try couples counseling? I don't know why you said yes to that. What were the previous conversations about it like? I'm sure that over the 7 years there were plenty of conversations. Did you tell him what you wanted? Why would you commit someone who already isn't making you happy? Don't fall for the sunk cost fallacy. Get out before you're any further in. Sounds like you got a shut-up ring. It doesn't sound like he has genuinely apologized. This should make you happy. What a joke. Even aside from it not being a grand gesture, he could have at least said something nice about you. It sounds like the engagement itself was passive-aggressive. If he can't fully understand and empathize with your perspective, apologize and try to make it up to you, then I honestly do not see you getting past this. If he does those things, maybe. But your relationship as it stands now doesn't sound very healthy. It sounds like you two deal with relationship problems as you versus him, rather than you plus him versus the problem. Did he explain what was going through his mind? I'm confused. You were together 8 years? Why was this trip when you thought he was going to propose? Why would make you think that? Then, it wasn't happening. So you spend time together crying? And then he tosses a ring at you to shut you up? Bingo. Bongo. Both of you need to go get some new strange and let this one go. If he really said, "This should make you happy," that's enough for me to reject a proposal. Even if he did go all out. It sounds like he feels resentful. Me happy? What about you? It's supposed to be a partnership. Engagement anniversary? That's not a thing. I'm not at all about big displays. But he dropped the ball. An "I love you" and or a "will you marry me" is in the ballpark of minimum requirements. Strike up a conversation about the ring and the engagement. Ask him if he could tell you what all he meant when he said, "This should make you happy." Ask him, "What about you? What feelings were you having when you gave it to me?" Quote, "The proposal was awful because you both demonstrated that you can't communicate. Instead of talking to him, you cry right to yourself, right in front of him. He sits there awkwardly ignoring you, hoping you'll stop, and then hands you a ring with a 'you happy now?' passive-aggressive comment. Now a year later you think it will be fixed with a do-over, meanwhile he wants to sweep it under the rug. This isn't do-over territory. You two act like you barely like each other. Go to premarital counseling to learn how to talk to each other. You should consider individual counseling to learn how to express yourself. Stop hinting. You're going to have to talk to him directly. I hinted to my boyfriend that I would like flowers and I didn't get any. I told him I would love it if he got me flowers, and he did because he knew exactly what I wanted from him. I mean, after 8 years, the man should have an idea of what you were expecting. At the same time, if your primary method of communication is hints, marriage is probably the last thing you should be thinking about. You can't hint your way to your dream life, as evidenced by your current situation. Honestly, I would pause the wedding situation and go to couples counseling and learn how to be clear and direct about what you both want. It will help you figure out if you're really a good fit. Your feelings are totally valid. That is so disappointing. It's heartbreaking. I would be really upset too. Take the ring off your finger. Give it back to him. And tell him that you cannot take any pleasure in this ring or this engagement due to the indifferent way he gave you the ring and the insulting words he said when giving it to you. Tell him that this is ruining the whole engagement experience for you and that you don't want to enter into a marriage this way. By all means, do tell him that it's clouding your feelings for him. Tell him that if he's serious about marrying you, he needs to get creative and fix this. Exchange the ring for another one. Propose properly. Whatever. And if he thinks he's doing you a favor by marrying you, which is what his words implied, well, is that the marriage you want? Because if you can't move past a disappointing engagement, then the odds are you'll be unhappy on your wedding day as well. And that is not how happy marriages are made. Ma'am, that's not a proposal. He didn't ask you to marry him. He just bought you jewelry. So why are you calling him your fiancé? Like, I'm genuinely curious. My BF bought me a ring at the Renaissance Festival. But that doesn't mean we are engaged. If you have any self-respect, give the ring back and find someone who actually wants to marry you. This should make you happy. I would have immediately said no. My parents' engagement was similar, except he threw it to her and said, "Have this." They're divorced now.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.